Good morning, or good afternoon. My name is Eileen Spitalny, and I'm one of the co-founders of Fairytale Brownies, which is based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and we bake and ship about 7 million brownies worldwide now. When we began 32 years ago, we actually didn't even know how to bake. We just had a great family recipe, and we started out with this original brownie, which we call the OG brownie, but over time, we have made other sizes and flavors. This is our half-size Sprite. But these days, what's most popular, because everybody's trying to do their best of indulging in a dessert but not eating too much, is our magic morsel size. So Fairytale brownies are baked with imported Belgian chocolate and all high-end ingredients, but we are also certified kosher and all natural. So within the brownie size that is the most popular these days, we have brownies, we have blondies, we have sugar-free, and we have what we're here to talk about today, gluten-free. So we are launching gluten-free Fairytale brownies right now, and they're going to come out just in the magic morsel size, which is 100 and 110 calorie brownie size, and they're wrapped in this different colors so people can identify it. And with every gift and every purchase, Fairytale brownies, because my business partner I've known since kindergarten, we give back, and we work with a nonprofit called Kaboom that builds play spaces across the US. And so when you're checking out at brownies.com, yes, that's our URL, brownies.com, you can give to the gift of play and we will match that. And so we also help with builds here a lot in Phoenix, close down the bakery, everybody goes to volunteer. It's just amazing, amazing organization. So, but back to the gluten-free, just wanted to share, why did we come out with this? Well, 1 in 100 people, according to celiac.com, are eating gluten-free or gluten-free intolerant. That's a lot of people. And also it is in here in the United States, according to a civic science study, about 27% of our population is eating gluten-free, or they are gluten-free intolerant or celiac themselves. We as a kitchen, we are a kosher kitchen. We are not certified celiac, which you will see that, but every batch is safe for someone for celiac to eat. What we do is we're baking it on a production day after everything's been cleaned. We're making just the 2 flavors, the chocolate chip and cream cheese. And then after we bake, cut, and wrap them, we hold the batch and it gets tested. And it needs to have less than 20 parts per million gluten within it. We've been testing and now we're live with them, baking them, but we've been testing since March and we are usually around the 5 to 7. So these are a very safe product if you do have a celiac person in your life. And then the other statistic I just love to share, well, within that 27% of the population in the US, the largest is the younger generation, 18 to 34, is eating gluten-free and looking for gluten-free food. So us being in business so long, 32 years, it's a great way to meet new customers too. And brownies, as we know too, are one of the top desserts for Americans. They say it's number 4, but you know what number 1 is? Fudge. And Fairytale brownies are actually a fudgy brownie. So I like to maybe think that actually brownies are maybe number 2 or something in between. But here's the chocolate chip, gluten-free, and you can see it's a very fudgy brownie. It's a family recipe and it's a rise and fall recipe. So it has a little crackly top, but when you bend it and eat inside, it's a very, very yummy, fudgy Fairytale brownie. So we're in our retail store, which if you are ever in Phoenix, you can come in, get a sample, try out something new. And you can also see through our viewing windows in the kitchen. But we're going to go into the kitchen now ourselves, and I'm going to show you Fairytale brownies in the works. So it's time to put on our hairnets. I'm going to change the view, if you guys don't mind, to speaker. Okay. Oh, nope. Sorry. Trying to use the speaker.
Is there anything I can help with on my end?
Sorry, I'm trying to change it back to gallery. Okay. All right, we're putting on our hairnet. Food safety is number 1 for Fairytale brownies. So we're going to go behind the scenes. Make sure you have booties on too. Actually, we like to say safety is no accident at Fairytale Brownies. That's one of our little,
You need some more, you got.
oh, I got some more hair right here. Okay. The goal is in the kitchen, right? Everything goes in the hairnet, no dangly earrings. You know, none of us want that in our brownies. And then we're very proud right here on the wall. You can see these are from AIB. This is third party food safety and certification. Our last one in July 8th, 2024, we got 950 out of 1,000. So we're definitely a little role model in the kitchen. People do come and compliment how clean we are. So please come in and see what's going on. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen at Fairytale Brownies. And I have to say, you know, when we did start this company, we did not know how to bake. I shared we do 7 million a year, but we started in a friend's catering kitchen, family recipe, went there at night, tested from chocolate all over the world, and decided imported Belgian chocolate is the one to use. Real butter, fresh egg, that great mouthfeel, which you get with the gluten-free too. It's pretty indistinguishable. My mother-in-law is gluten-free, so she was one of the testers. You can see here the ingredients. So today we're actually doing blondies. So this is the area where it all begins, just like with mom, you know, you're double boiling. Well, we're going to show you we use a chocolate melter. There's the butter and the brown sugar. So again, right now what the kitchen is baking is blondies because it's a Wednesday. So we're going to be doing gluten-free oysters on a Monday. You can thoroughly see that. There's butter. Stella's got butter. So I was going to show you their chocolate in here. So this is a very fancy double boiler. It's called the chocolate melter. But this is like Willy Wonka's dreams right there. It's a little wall of water. And then it comes out into this pot. Here she's mixing. So, and like mom used to use, you know, cups and tablespoons, everything here is at this point on a scale. And then once we create a batch, then it comes over to get weighed out on the table here. And if there's toppings, all of our toppings are done by hand. So with the cream cheese, one of the gluten-free flavors, it's a cream cheese topping that goes in and then they swirl it with a knife. We do all our walnut brownies, pecan brownies, everything is by hand.
Eileen, can you show us up close the brownies and the mixing and the spreading of the cream cheese?
Yeah, okay, they want to see this more close-ups of this. Yeah, so these are the ingredients for blondies. What flavor blondies is that you making? Okay, oh, cinnamon crumb. They're making cinnamon crumb today, which is like coffee cake. It's so good. So good. Let's show a little more mixing.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, lots of close-ups like that.
Here, come watch this. We're gonna take some out of it. I mean, what's better than that? I wish you all could smell. So there's some, sorry.
All right, let's watch them take it.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
this is what's called a rack oven. So it lifts it up and turns it around for even heat. You know, at home, you kind of sometimes move things yourself. This is the way you do it professionally. So one batch of blondies or brownies is 40 trays, and then it gets cut into the different sizes.
Where are you going? All right, we'll follow you. Can they see it?
Yeah. So, okay, now we can look down over here. So you, because they're getting ready to off like the batter that we saw them making, they're going to be pouring it out and weighing it. And then we have weighed, like I said, we do everything by hand, but they're by weight. It's all about consistency. We want people to have the same experience every time they eat one of our treats. So this is a bowl of our cinnamon crumb topping. And right, you can see how yummy that is. Got cinnamon, brown sugar, and here's the scale where they weigh.
What do they do? Oh, raspberry.
Oh, we're doing a little raspberry. So we have a raspberry swirl brownie, and we have a raspberry white chocolate blondie. And so they're getting ready, we use an Italian raspberry puree. And so over here in the corner, you sneak and see them. Hi. Hi. Come to visit.
Fairy.
So after we bake the brownies, because the wrapping machine's going fun right now. After we bake the brownies, so they get cut, I'll show you the cutting machine is. Well, what would be happen next is you take the brownies to our cutting machine. You even have a sign up there, brownie cutting. So this is the automatic cutter. And of course, when we started, we used a pizza cutter and like a knife and a ruler and but you do what you gotta do in the beginning, but we finally could afford a machine. So this is a food tools machine and basically lift it up. There's blades. So again, we want people to have this high and consistent experience. So you see the blades there. So that is for our Sprite size, which is the middle size, which is 3 by 1.5. But what happens in all of this safety, the safety we have on our machines is actually European standard. We've kind of just doing everything to the highest hilt for safety that we can for our employees and for our consumers that are eating the brownies. So, but the automatic cutting machine is off an air compressor and it does the sizes consistently. And then you come over and then they get wrapped. So these are chocolate chip blondies. Let's see.
This is so fun. I love this journey.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. This is I Love Lucy. So they go down. This is what's called a horizontal line wrapper. When we started, of course, we wrapped by hand. It was my mom, my boyfriend's mom, who's now my husband, and my business partner, David's mom. And they called themselves the Wrap Group, WRAP. And they had little Smart and Final plastic wrap, pull it out, put the brownie in, hand label it. And that's how we did it. So of course, we've just graduated over time. And this is just an amazing machine because it does all the sizes, wraps them, sprays the lock code, metal detectors, everything. And we actually added a counter, which helps counting for consistency. But it's fun. So she's getting ready to do a new tray. Then I'm gonna just show. It goes through. Better on this side. Goes through. Okay, here we go. Right now we're gonna see them get wrapped. Yeah. And then right here.
This is
bring
so great.
Bring the lock code. And then they come out. And then that little tunnel they're going through is the metal detector. Want to grab it on the end and show you. So they right, they get counted and then this arm moves and then they'll switch to the other circulation table. We'll show it in here. It's kind of fun. This is like, that's where Veruca would get, you know, Golden Age Girl, get booted. But so every brownie has a lock code on it. So this is part of the food safety too, which we try to be as inconspicuous as possible, but it is there to tell us if there's anything we can, you know, identify. Here's what they've been working on this morning so far, which is pretty amazing. These are all wrapped chocolate chip. These are all chocolate chip morsels, right? Which is what we saw them doing, chocolate chip. Okay, so now we're gonna move into the test kitchen where we'll be able to hear better. Let's just something else. Well, here's another pretty wrap. More cinnamon crumb. So the wrapping station, this time of year, going into the season, we're in high production. So there's people baking, there's people cutting, there's people wrapping. And then what our shipping team does is put them into the gifts that get shipped. And I mentioned the 7 million brownies we do a year. Half of those are baked and shipped the first 3 weeks of December. We are that season. Oh, butter. There's beautiful butter. Right? If you want to have a good brownie, you gotta have good butter. Okay, so we're gonna go into test kitchen and then we're gonna be able to hear you better. We're gonna also show you, since we have new gluten-free brownies, holidays are upon us. We thought, let's find a gluten-free cocktail. So really quick, here and there, we'll love to answer questions. We'll be able to hear much better in here. So we created a gluten-free cocktail and mocktail to go with the new gluten-free brownies, and it is a blackberry sour cocktail. So it's super simple to make. You can do frozen blueberries, but I used fresh blueberries. You do like, so in a shaker, you put in your 1 ounce to 2 ounce of bourbon. Then you put in just like 4 blackberries fresh, and then a simple syrup, which could be made with honey, sugar, agave syrup, even you can use if you don't want to make simple syrup. And here's the bourbon we chose today, Angel's Envy. And then some lemon juice and lime juice. And when you shake it, it turns into this just beautiful color, and it goes so great with the chocolate chip brownies. So this is a finished one we made, and then I just did a little rosemary, probably needs to be cut, but it's a great cocktail or mocktail. And the chocolate chip, when I made the cocktail, is perfect. The cream cheese is a sweeter brownie. So really to make that a good cocktail, you have to like dose a little more whiskey or bourbon to make it complete. But we thought it'd be fun to make a gluten-free cocktail or mocktail to match. So I'm standing now in our test kitchen, which is where we actually test every batch of brownies. We have a group of employees at Fairytale Brownies, not on the baking team, who taste every batch. And this time of year, they have lots to taste, and they can spit it out like wine, but that's where we do all the quality control is in here. And so we put some of our package to kind of make it a little bit prettier in here, but I would love to answer any questions because now I can hear what you're saying.
Awesome, Eileen. Thank you so much for that. That was extremely engaging. Gives us the whole picture of what you've got going on. So that was so wonderful and lovely. We've got some comments and questions, so I'll go ahead and start reading those off to you so you can answer them for the group. So comment from Jody, called yesterday and was so happy to find out your products are certified kosher. I know we spoke about that a little bit earlier, so just wanted to mention that.
Kosher, we're kosher dairy because of the butter, and we are not a parve product. There is a time of year where parve brownies, but we do not do a parve product, just to answer that kosher question.
Yeah, thank you. A comment from Beeb, oh, very interesting. One of our writers specifically writes about gluten-free foods, so that's wonderful. We'll make sure you guys get in touch. From Jay, we've got how many pieces are in a package, and are there nuts? I know you talked about that a little bit, but if you'd like to circle back on the nuts you incorporate.
Sure. Okay. Well, so specifically for gluten-free, both the flavors have no nuts. We're just coming out with 2 flavors, chocolate chip and cream cheese. But we do have a lot of nut flavors. We made one little pretty tray to show you all. So,
Wow.
yeah. So we have, we've got walnut and pecan brownies. So those would have nuts. Our toffee crunch would have nut. It would have almond. And then let's see, this is a cinnamon cocoa brownie that's got pecans. And we have the cinnamon crumb blondie, which we were talking about, like a coffee cake that has walnuts. So, but there's plenty of flavors without. So I don't know the question about nuts, just so you know, all of the film, specifically talks about if it's, that it's baked in a nut-free, I mean, we're a peanut-free facility, but it talks about all the food allergens on all the back, on all the back of Fairytale wrapper. It has the ingredients and the nutrition. So, and then of course the kosher certification. So somebody who really needs to be careful of allergies will be able to trust and read our packaging to know whether they can put it in their mouth. But these are all the items. And then we do bake cookies too. So this is our Snicker doodle, which is the latest in that arena.
Wonderful.
That answered that question.
Yes, thank you so much. Comment from Bimini from Bustle. That is a big mixer in all caps. Jody, it must smell amazing in there. Deborah,
long enough, your clothes smell like chocolate. Yeah, when we used to be in our teeny kitchen, we all smelled like chocolate. Yeah, which was fun, but now it's kind of blockaded off.
You don't even need a perfume at that point. Chocolate's the best one. From Deborah, makes me want brownies now. Okay, here we go. A question from Bimini. What is your personal favorite flavor?
Oh, my personal favorite flavor is the espresso nib brownie. And then in the cookies, I would say toffee chocolate chip or caramel pecan. And in the blondies, probably that cinnamon crumb. But everybody has their favorite. And I guess, I'm lucky because I'm work here, so I can have a different flavor each day. It's just all about moderation when you work here. That's the key to learn. Especially when you're new. We try to tell new staff members, just slow down. We got, have rejects but don't eat too many in one day. We want you to eat these the rest of your life.
Love that. A few more questions from Bimini. She says a metal detector, question mark.
Oh, okay. Metal detector. Why? Well, food safety. Say a bit of metal came off. You saw the rack of trays. So they're pulling the rack off, they put it and they wrap it, and say a little bit of metal got in there. Or let's say, God forbid, like something was in the flour. And so then it would detect it. And again, we use the lowest level, like kind of some of the measurements in food safety are a little high, and we kind of make it even more stringent here at Fairytale Brownies because we've just never really had an issue, and that is our goal, is just to do the best. So a metal detector is important just to make sure there's no identifiable metal inside.
Wonderful. And also from Bimini, roughly how much product do you have in reserve at any time? I know your packaging locks in freshness, but if I ordered a box of your brownies, how recently were they baked versus sitting in storage before being sent?
It really depends on the time of year. So right now, let's see. So when you get a gift of brownies, like these are gift packages here, it tells you inside, hey, if you're not going to eat these right away, put them, they'll be good on the shelf for about another week, or put them in the refrigerator for 30 days or 6 months frozen. So people do get that because we want them to know it's all natural. Here, this time of year where it's high production, you're probably eating very, very fresh brownies. How long? I would say you could be eating brownies that were baked, depending on where you live, 5 days ago or a couple weeks ago. Everything is frozen. So please, request a sample from us, and then please know when you eat that, and you'll be like, wow, these are so good, that they have been frozen. But think of grandma. Grandma always froze her, desserts in the freezer. I mean, chocolate and butter love to be frozen. And you saw how fudgy our brownies are. So everything you see here is, so moist and fresh, but yes, it's been frozen. So back to, here's my favorite brownie, the espresso nib. It has an espresso extract in it, and then crushed cacao nibs on top, but you can still see it's still yummy, fudgy brownie.
I can definitely attest to the fudginess of those brownies.
But that's the only way we can do it, is to freeze, because in December, there's days where they're picking up 10,000 boxes. So you can't be just finishing wrapping them and get them in the box and then get them in the shipping box with the gift message that quick. So yeah.
Definitely makes sense. Bimini also asks, do you have any official partnership with Angel's Envy?
No, we don't. I just have a friend that likes it. So I have a bottle at my house, and so that's what I used.
Perfect. That cocktail looks so yummy.
It is.
Beeb is here. She says, can you talk more about the family history behind this recipe? What family member handed it down to you?
Yes, this is okay. Good question. Okay, so when we started, my friend David and I, these were the brownies we grew up eating at his house. My mom worked. He had the best, it was the quintessential Jewish mother who got to stay at home and cook, and her friends would come over with David and eat food all the time. And one of the things we ate all the time were her brownies. And even growing up, we said, oh, Nancy, you should sell these. You can be like Mrs. Fields one day. So the recipe came from Nancy. We went to college, Dave and I, we got our corporate jobs, bored. What should we do? Oh, let's bake brownies. We can be like the Ben and Jerry's of brownies. Little did we know we were starting a manufacturing company, but brownies are fun and yummy and make everybody happy. So when we started, I said to Nancy, like, thank you for your recipe, but do we owe you anything? And where did it actually come from? Right? Because before we start this business, do we owe somebody something? And she tells a story, which is so great. So the recipe came from Massachusetts. That's where she first lived before she moved out to Arizona with her husband. And a neighbor down the street had her and her husband over for dinner, and they had dinner and they had brownies for dessert. And her husband, Bob, loved the brownies and asked her neighbor for the recipe. Well, this was the time when women, now we all share our recipes. This was the time when women would give you an incomplete recipe. So Nancy was given an incomplete brownie recipe because she baked them again for her husband, Bob, and they were like, these aren't the same. So she played with it and made them back to where they were. So these are truly Nancy's, and she's like, she had to play with it, make it come back to fudgy. And then when we started, we just tested it with different chocolate from all over the world. And I was in sales, and I would go out with paper plates of brownies and not tell people I was visiting. I get an ad agency. I'd say, oh, my friend's thinking of starting a brownie company. Which one do you like better? And I never told them it was me until we launched. But so the recipe was handed down in that manner. But brownies is definitely an American thing, and does originate, they say, from Massachusetts, from a librarian that always brought cake in, and this is one of the versions. And she forgot to put enough flour in, it was fudgy, and so the brownie was born. I think
Very, very
Fanny
grateful for
Farmer
that mistake.
cookbook was the first with a brownie recipe.
One more time.
Oh, Fanny Farmer cookbook, I think, is the first that put one in a cookbook, a brownie recipe.
Amazing. So we've got one more comment, one more question. So if you wouldn't mind, if you still have your packaging, if you could show us close up the kosher symbol.
Yeah. It is the Phoenix VOD right there. Is it?
There it is. Awesome.
Yeah.
And
So
go
it's
ahead,
the
ask.
Phoenix VOD. If customers ever need it with a gift, we can enclose a copy of the kosher certificate, and it even has a phone number they can contact. But it is a certified one, and it's the Phoenix VOD HaKosher who koshers our kitchen.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. And then the last of the comments and questions are from Dolly. It's extremely mouthwatering. And with that, I would definitely have to agree. Thank you for such a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Dolly. Well, thank you all for coming. And so we're excited about that. And I guess the other new thing is we do have some new packaging coming out. This is our new Halloween.
Ooh.
I guess one question people ask us too is, and see, there's our brownie guy, he's in the window. One question people ask us is, why'd you name it Fairytale Brownies? So when you look up brownie in the dictionary, definition 1 is the square chocolate cake. But definition 2 is that little helpful elf that performs good deeds at night. Think brownies and Girl Scouts. So we're like, oh, well, we like that, like the do good, because we knew we wanted to give back when we started our company. So we're like, we went down the rabbit hole of brownies who live in fairyland with nymphs and sprites and so on. And so we made up a little legend about him, because he comes in the kitchen, bakes them all, cleans up, we just show up and ship them. And so in the wee hours of night, the Fairytale brownie gleams with delight. With his magic spoon in hand, he creates the greatest brownies in all of fairyland.
Oh, I love
it.
Eileen, I have to say that you get a gold star for one of the best presentations any of our exhibitors have ever made. That was fantastic, interesting, and we're all salivating.
Thank you. Well,
And
it
in
is
the last
fun
minute,
to do
in the last
brownies.
minute, there is one more question. Is there any dairy-free options?
There is not at this time. There is not. But that was the other, it's on the bucket list for us to do. So thank you. Thank you
So
all for joining.
mouthwatering, delicious.
Yeah.
I can attest they're amazing.
Yes. And on that note, reporters, please visit mediaandmerch.com, find Fairytale Brownies, and request those samples and press releases to get in contact with Eileen and Elisa.
All right. Thank you all. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Jody.